What's going on YouTube? So when Chevy unveiled the C8 Corvette with its mid-engine configuration, they turned the sports car world on its head. But then they unveiled this Ferrari killer, the Z06, with a hand-built flat plane crank V8. Needless to say, we're gonna have fun today, so hold on tight for this review. Now we always like to start out under the hood, but this is a mid-engine after all, so actually we're in the back today. So the magic of the Z06 really begins, and the most important element is what is underneath here. This is a 5.5 liter flat plane crank LT6 V8 engine. 670 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. This is actually the most powerful production naturally aspirated V8 engine in the entire world. That is very impressive, so thank you Joshua Blanton for doing the handcrafting to make this beauty. Now as far as the transmission, 8-speed dual clutch automatic, 0 to 60 on this is 2.6 seconds. Yeah, you heard me right. And of course, we cannot wait to take this out on the road. The owner has graciously allowed us to drive this and show you guys what the Z06 is all about. That will be coming up just a little bit later in this review, so stay tuned. Now before we get things started here today, we've got a couple people to thank. So special thanks to the owner of this awesome Z06 for letting us check this out today. And also special thanks to the great guys at Gorilla Shine in Lexington for lining up this opportunity for us. This Z06 just had a full paint protection film installed by them, and they did an excellent job of making sure this Corvette will be able to be used to its full potential without having to worry about damage for years to come. They have a lot of other great services as well, so make sure to check them out for all your cleaning and protection needs. But jumping in here with the exterior, this C8 Corvette already looked absolutely excellent. The new rear engine proportions and the way this front end look are really bold and aggressive, and Z06 just dials things up even more. So everything you see up here in the front is functional. You have better airflow and added downforce with these huge vents that run all across the front, as you can see, finished in a nice gloss black finish, contrasting nicely with the Elkhart Lake Blue, which I think is my favorite color that the Corvette is offered in. Of course, it's offered in a lot of other color options as well. We also have the front lift, which is an option, so you don't have to worry about going over speed bumps, pulling in your driveway. You can just lift this guy up. Even with this aggressive lower fascia here, you can still get over all the pieces that you're trying to get over. Now the Z06 is 3.6 inches wider than the standard Stingray. And then as far as your headlights, these are going to be the typical Corvette affair. Full LED, of course, with your LED turn signal indicator and daytime running light. Now as we walk around to the back, this is ridiculously thick. Really wide. Really wide rear end. It's got to be wide because they're accommodating 345 width rear tires, so yeah. And I love the way it looks. So good here in person. Now I want to point out, for Z06, you're going to have a standard spoiler. This is kind of the more tasteful option. If you go for the Z07 package, you can actually get a wing spoiler that stands off of here to really spice up the design. And Drew's going to hop inside, see if all the elements are LED in the taillights. We do have an LED brake light, LED reverse light, and our turn signal indicator is going to be the nice dynamic finish, same as what you get on a regular Corvette. But as we drop down, you're also going to notice a lot of things that are not the same as what you get on a regular C8 Stingray. We have center mounted exhaust for the Z06. It's quad exhaust setup, and this thing can rev up to 8,500 RPM, and it sounds absolutely incredible. I can feel my chest quake sitting back here behind the Z06. Oh my gosh, this has got to be nominated as one of the best exhaust notes I have ever heard in my life.
This is phenomenal, guys.
Now moving on to our wheels. Of course, this area is also going to be upgraded for Z06 duty. So first off, we do have staggered wheels. So it's going to be 20 inches here in the front, 21 inches in the back. The tread is going to be wider, which I'm going to mention in just a second, in the rear as well. As you can see, nice matte black finish here on board. They look super, super good. And they're wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires with the standard version of the Z06. The Z07 Performance Package will give you a more aggressive tread. Now, as far as your brakes, also upgraded. You have very large 6-piston Brembo brakes as standard equipment. However, this owner has optioned on the optional carbon ceramic brakes, and they've also gone for a special orange finish, which looks really nice and matches with the seat belts. You'll see that in just a second. And then coming up here to our mirrors, we do have auto dimming. We also have blind spot monitoring, which is nice because your visibility is not always the best.
Now here at the side of the Z06, I want to point out that this is actually 3 inches longer than the traditional Stingray Corvette, and it's available in coupe form, as you see here, or also a convertible if you want that top-down experience, although you can take this top off as you would with any other Corvette model. Now, this top is also available in a variety of different finishes. If you want to get it in carbon fiber, you can do so with this Corvette. Now, I also want to point out here at the side, we have this giant side blade that feeds air in to cool that mighty engine off. We also have Z06 branding down here. Now, for your safety systems, the Corvette Z06 is not going to have a lot of them. You're only going to have rear cross traffic alert with the blind spot monitoring on the 2LZ model and above. But guys, let's go ahead and check out the interior. And if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now on to the interior for a brief tour before we take this out on the road. First, we'll take a look at our key fob. This is your typical Chevy key fob. You do have some special Corvette branding on it though. You've got smart entry as well as remote start, and to get inside, you're just going to grab underneath of this side blade and pinch the electronic sensor. That will unlock the door and fold the mirrors outward. Now take a look inside this performance cockpit. Really a very cool look on board with this new generation of the Corvette. There are some differences with this Z06 as well. First, I want to talk about your material and color options. So I'm not even going to attempt, honestly, to detail all the different ways you can spec this interior. This is kind of a customize as you want type of build. Whatever you can dream, they're going to be able to do this. We obviously have the black finish seats. This is going to be the 3LZ, so this is the most luxurious version, and this gives you the GT2 seat. So we've got the suede down the center here. We have the genuine leather along the sides and along the armrest, or excuse me, the headrest, and then we've got the exposed carbon fiber running through there. They look absolutely excellent, and there's those orange seat belts I was mentioning earlier. You can customize which color seat belt you want. Now you do also have memory seating as well, and we'll go ahead and climb inside. Here, when you climb in, you get that cool animation across your two displays. Of course, this one is really highlighting the engine because that, of course, is the most important part of the Z06. Now, before I fire it up, though, like always, I want to check out the interior materials. Like I was mentioning, this is the top spec model, so it's going to have the nicest finishes in the cabin. That means basically leather head to toe. So you've got leather all the way down here on your lower door trim, and as you move up, it does continue all through there. Beautiful stitching details through the middle and all along the top. We have the Bose Performance Series sound system, so you have the nice metal speaker grill right there. We also have a lot of optional carbon fiber pieces throughout the cabin, so all of this is going to be finished in carbon fiber. Around the gauge cluster is the same way, and as we move to the upper dash, all of this is going to be finished in the beautiful real leather with color contrast stitching all running down the side there and all along this console area as well. So just a really, really nicely done cabin. This is genuinely luxurious. But let's start this bad boy up. Yeah, you're gonna know this is the Z06 as soon as you push that button. First off here, let's go ahead and talk about our gauge cluster. 12.3-inch full digital gauge cluster. It does have different designs you can choose from. It also changes when you switch to different drive modes. So I just switched to my mode. You also have tour mode and your sport mode as well. And then in addition to that, you also have a large head-up display. You can change this between several different kinds of information. It's a really good head-up display. I really like how these gauges have the performance features up there, so you don't even have to take your eyes off the road. Now, pulling back to the steering wheel, we've got that signature Corvette design. This is basically a square, which sounds weird at first, but is absolutely great once you get used to it. You have nice bolsters over here to grip. We have the optional Alcantara and carbon fiber trim steering wheel. So as you can see, you got that carbon fiber on the top and bottom, grippy Alcantara on the sides. Very nice steering wheel overall. It is going to be power adjusting as well. And you do have your Z mode button here, which is basically your kind of custom drive mode. And we also have the beautiful carbon fiber paddle shifters. Quickly looking at our storage. A little bit in there in the center console. You do have a nice place to wirelessly charge your phone right here behind the driver. Nice speaker grill there with the Z06 branding. And you got a couple cup holders. Now as far as the controls here, this is your signature Corvette. So you've got this really long row of buttons. Basically the upper section is for the driver. The lower section is for the passenger, and you can adjust your individual climate settings as well as your heated and ventilated seats right there. And then you've got your nice drive mode controller. This is where you just twist, select your drive mode. Also, you can turn on and off your front lift when needed and your front camera. And then we've got the really cool shifter here. It's electronic, as you can tell. You just pull back on that trigger to go into drive, pull back on the other trigger for reverse. And that's what your typical backup camera is going to look like. You do have a nice active trajectory on board, as well as a few different angles you can choose from. Now up above, we have an 8-inch display, as you can see, very aggressively angled towards the driver. This is running the typical infotainment system 3 from Chevrolet. You've got all the functionality such as wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. You also have built-in navigation here on the top-end model. And you have some special features such as your performance data recorder, so I can, record with video all your performance data when you're out on the track. Keep that for later on. As you can see, it is high resolution as well. And then when it comes to your audio system, like I already mentioned, we do have the 14-speaker Bose Performance Series sound system that comes on the 2LZ trim level and above. Now up top here, we do have the frameless auto-dimming mirror. This is a digital camera mirror, which really helps because that engine certainly blocks a good deal of your typical rear visibility. And then you have your HomeLink universal remotes right there. I love that the Targa top here does have this really cool stitching detail in the Alcantara. And like Mason was mentioning on the outside, you can easily take this off and you have plenty of space to store it in the back.
And now to talk about the practical bits so you can sell your wife on getting one of these Z06s. Now, I will start out because we have dual cargo areas. Because this is a mid-engine vehicle, we have a frunk. Up here in the frunk, we have about 5 cubic feet of cargo capacity. This is definitely enough for 2 or 3 weekend bags. It's not a massive amount of space, but 5 cubic feet is enough to haul around quite a bit of stuff. And then if we shut that up, let's go ahead and check out the rear area. Now, we also have this rear trunk. This is going to be about 7 cubic feet of cargo capacity. You can fit quite a bit of stuff back here as well. And I do want to point out they've made it so that the top can actually come and be stored here in this cargo area, which is probably one of the most useful bits about this cargo area right here. Now, I also want to point out, sadly, there are no rear seats. So that does mean it's going to be a really, really sad day for Josh, who came with us to film, because there's only 2 seats. And I don't know about you, but I'm going on a ride, Drew. I think you are too. So I guess there's a Prius back there, Josh, if you want to drive that. Whew. Alrighty.
Just a little sample.
Yeah, so as you can see, we are behind the wheel of the Corvette Z06. This is not your normal Corvette. This is not a C8 Stingray. Don't get me wrong, that's a fantastic car. We sampled that out for a full week before, and we loved every second of it. But this is a very, very special product, and we are going to be doing a lot of different things this test drive, talking about all the things you're wanting to know, how everyday livable it is, showing you that performance, letting you hear that phenomenal exhaust sound. And speaking of sound, we're going to get our sound level reading as well, so we can have that posted on our website. So stay tuned. There's a lot coming up here. So let's go ahead and start with a actual hard acceleration.
Oh man. Okay.
Right. We're inventing a 6th level on our smile meter.
Bam! It just blew off the top of the smile meter.
Oh my gosh.
Holy moly.
I don't have words for that.
Yeah, some cars you drive, and as you can see, it just kind of leaves you speechless a little bit. This is one of those. Just the sound. Oh my god. It's amazing.
Wow.
And of course the performance too. This is a very fast machine. We mentioned at the spec dump, 0 to 60 is 2.6 seconds. So that's of course insanely fast. And I'll remind you, this is naturally aspirated. It's rear wheel drive as well. We don't have all wheel drive, but it puts the power down.
Oh my gosh. So to remind you guys of what this is, it's a hand-built 5.5 liter flat plane crank V8. So this is a very special motor. You know, this is not just a Corvette with more power. You know, this is a special product because this is targeted at a 911 owner. This is targeted at someone who's looking at a Ferrari, and they really have brought their A game when it comes to this engine. And I have to say, I mean, this is blowing me away. You can look at the specs on paper and be like, okay, well, you know, that's really great numbers wise and all, but when you sit in this vehicle, hear the character of this engine, that's what blows you away.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to describe it. This is a experience vehicle. You're paying for that right there. Oh.
670 horsepower, which does make this the actual, the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 in the entire world. So, also special in that regard.
Love the pops and burbles, of course, in the exhaust. We're in the sport mode right now, scaring all the birds away. I saw fly away. Now, when it comes to the different drive modes, you've got a lot of them. I did mention that briefly in the interior section. Each one's going to be able to adjust a lot of elements of the character. The big one is going to be the exhaust, of course, but also the steering, and because this has magnetic ride control, you're going to be able to vastly change if this is riding really compliant or if you have a firm, extremely aggressive ride quality. That's one thing, though, I have to say I'm impressed by just right off the bat here. This ride quality, even in sport mode, is not bad at all.
It is really good.
You would think that this would be like really hardcore, but it's actually not. You can still be really buttoned down, but with the magnetic ride control also.
As we got waved on at a stop sign, he wanted to hear this car.
Of course, everybody does.
Oh my gosh, and also, I mean, even for the passenger seat, I'm noticing the other aspect about this powertrain, the 8-speed dual clutch. Oh my goodness.
Very responsive. I mean, it absolutely blasts off shifts. This is General Motors in-house developed, and you can tell because it just really matches with this engine. Great. Like I said, snaps off shifts, lightning fast. Of course, you have manual mode as well, so you can press the M right there, and you can start to control with these nice carbon fiber paddle shifters. Absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
So we're in the track mode. This is effectively straight pipe the exhaust. Yeah, my ear is actually ringing a little bit. It is that loud, but it is glorious. Absolutely glorious. Yeah, look how responsive it is to the paddle shifters. Absolutely fantastic. Now let's talk a little bit about driving dynamics. We're obviously on a nice back road here in Kentucky, and this really comes alive on a back road. They've done a lot of work to the already amazing foundation that the Stingray is. They've stiffened up things, like a lot of things. So you have stiffer dampening, stiffer magnetic ride control. That's just gonna allow you to be able to go through corners like that, just completely rock solid, zero body roll. Doesn't exist. Of course, the grip is gonna be fantastic. We've got the Pilot Sport 4S. That's the standard tire. You can also get an even more aggressive tire if you choose that Z07 performance package.
But I mean, this thing is honestly, it's made for the track. It's not even made just for back road driving and enjoying that. This thing is actually so capable. It's a supercar. It's made for track duty. Obviously, we won't be doing that in today's video.
Of course not.
You know, there's other videos that are already on YouTube that are done by great people as well that you can watch them do track driving. This, of course, is an owner's vehicle, so we're just very happy to be out here on the back roads enjoying it. But wow.
So I just pushed the Z button on the steering wheel. I do want to point this one out because I think this is a mode a lot of drivers are going to be using, because in addition to those regular modes, including your individual mode, you got this Z mode. And what Z mode does is it lets you have the exhaust sound in the track setting, which is what we were just in, but dials the other aspects down a little bit for everyday street driving. That just gives you that auditory maximum experience while still being a little bit more comfortable. So the steering's a little less aggressive, definitely better for just like everyday driving if you're cruising down a country road, not being super hardcore.
Wow. I love this engine and exhaust. Shall we go any further? That's today's slam dunk. Did you really think it was going to be anything other than that?
This engine is such a gem.
Incredible. It's incredibly rare. It's just everything that, it's the peak of combustion engines, really. You know, so that's definitely today's slam dunk. Airball. Is there a possibility of no airball? I think this car kind of wins that award. Maybe the price. I wish I could afford it. That would be my airball. Is I wish it was a little cheaper.
Yeah.
But this is actually a bargain for what you're getting here.
Even that's not a good airball. Maybe the screen's a little small. I don't know. You really have to dig deep to come up with an airball for this. Here's one. It's so loud that I had to just put it into the comfort mode just so you could hear us talk. Otherwise, you won't hear us.
The sheer speed is insane, guys, but I want to talk about the ride quality and get our sound level reading, because for those of you looking to buy a Corvette, this is still a Grand Touring vehicle. I mean, this one is definitely not focused on that, but in general, the Corvette, a lot of people drive them on the daily, so let's talk about the ride quality of it. The ride quality, like Drew mentioned a little bit earlier, I've been very impressed with, especially now that we're in touring mode. The magnetic dampers do a fantastic job of absorbing all the bumps. It's really comfortable, and when we lived with it for an entire week in the Stingray, incredibly comfortable. I do also want to get our sound level reading going 55 miles an hour here. And before slowing down, we're sitting at 64.5 decibels. And the last thing I want to talk about here, besides the warranty, is your fuel economy. Not that it really is going to matter to any of you guys if you're looking to buy a Z06, but we're sitting at 15 miles a gallon combined for what we're in today. If you get the Z07 package, that reduces it down to 14 miles a gallon combined, which really for a supercar, I mean, that's not bad fuel economy whatsoever. It's 670 horsepower, guys, so not really that bad.
There's like a around $3,000 gas guzzler charge.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing that is more worrisome to some of you guys.
Look, who cares? That it just literally doesn't matter at this point. Enjoy natural aspiration while we still have it.
And as far as your warranty, it's going to be the signature warranty, 3-year 36,000 mile basic, 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain, and you also get 1 complimentary service visit. And lastly, let's talk about the pricing for this Z06. Well, we're going to start at $106,695, excuse me, for the 1LZ model, which is roughly double the price of a standard Stingray Corvette, so it's not going to be cheap. But the 2LZ starts at $115,895, 3LZ $120,595. This particular model that we're here with today went big or went home, so he got all the options. This is a 3LZ model. The wind is really not being cooperative with me here. $144,000 as tested right here, and there is a lot of room for customization, as you would expect from a supercar like this. You can go all the way up to about $175,000 if you check all of the boxes in this Corvette. And guys, that's where we're going to leave off on this in-depth review of the 2023 Chevy Corvette Z06. Once again, special thanks to the owner of this vehicle who has allowed us to show you guys what this Z06 is all about, and also special thanks to Gorilla Shine for setting this up. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. We have a ton of stuff that you won't want to miss out on, and join our Car Confections family. If you're already a part of that family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.